Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back. This is Ham Radio Live. Please subscribe. We don't monetize the channel. We do this to help give back and help people not only get into ham radio, but find out about great products that you can buy and get better at ham radio, too. Today's a good show. We're going to talk about mobile applications, how to do them, plus a great set of transceivers you can put in your rig, plus an excellent antenna. I hope you enjoy the show. Wherever you're coming from today, it is the 11th day of August 2021, and away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Shack in Oregon. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. True, greatly honored to see all of you today, wherever you're coming from in the world. Thanks for being here. We're going to talk about mobile applications today, but the main purpose of us coming is to help you get into ham radio. Now, before we talk about that, I'd like to tell you we have a very special guest. I've mispronounced his name, and I feel terrible about that. I really do. His name is Steve Dynas. Steve Dynas, and he is the founder and owner of Alpha Antennas. Steve is going to give us the honor of having him live on the show this Saturday, the 14th of August, 20 UTC. Join us and meet Steve live, ask him questions, be able to talk about Alpha Antenna products. Steve's going to be answering all of your questions this Saturday at 20 UTC. Please join us for that, all right? The main purpose of the channel is to help you get licensed. So far, 21 licenses through the channel, and I'm humbled by that. I really do mean that. You can get a hold of a radio club that's basically a national club, all right? You get a hold of them, hit the contact us bar, let them know where your location is. And then what they'll do is they'll connect you with a radio club that's fairly close. The only thing that you have to do then is get a hold of that club and meet them. Find out if maybe ham radio's for you. They can help teach you, get you ready for your license exams, and help you pass your tests. First of all, contact the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org, or in Great Britain, the Radio Society of Great Britain can be found at www.rsgb.org. In Canada, the Radio Amateurs of Canada at www.rac.ca. In Japan, the Japan Amateur Radio League can be found at www.jarl.org. And for our mates in Australia, the Wireless Institute of Australia can be found at www.wia.org, plus special information that maybe you don't know about. If you're in Australia, here's an audio clip of a weekly news program from the WIA. Take a listen.
From Australia, this is the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Hello there, I'm Graham VK4 Baker. This is the WIA National News for week commencing August 8, 2021. And don't forget WIA's National News and your 3 Ws. Wash your hands, wear your mask, watch your distance. In today's news, Lee Moyle, VK3GK, WIA Vice President, joins us. The international community has been abuzz this week with news that the Bouvet Island de-expedition could be back on track.
And we'll talk about that. That's from the WIA. You can get a hold of them right online at WIA. Sorry, let me get back on the screen because there's so doggone many. It's www.wia.org. Sorry about that. Yeah, so many different web addresses. Forgive me for that. Find them and you'll find their news service. It's fantastic. It is so well done and well produced. Congratulations to the WIA for what they're doing. Good stuff. Really promoting amateur radio. And we'll talk about Bouvet as well. We've got some big news regarding Bouvet today. If you'd like to get into ham radio, there are great ways to do so. ARRL has great distance learning tools for you to use. And you can find these just right there on the ARRL website. Also, Ham Test Online, great study tool. Try it for free. 100% money back guarantee if you don't pass. Also, hamradioschool.com, great resource for you if you're trying to pass your ham radio technician, general, or your amateur extra license. Same thing for ham radio prep. They're real good at what they do. Find them online at hamradioprep.com. If you'd like to email the show, find me at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com, our PayPal address to help us with expenses. And by the way, speaking of that, I want to thank Al, Whiskey Bravo Zero Alpha Lima. He just gave $100 today. Al, thank you, man. Wow. I saw that come across today, and Al, I was so blown away because that literally now buys the tower that the Urban Beam can stand on, and it lets us make calls to the folks that watch a show in Europe, as well as the Caribbean and Asia and Australia. Al, thank you again for your generous donation. We're truly humbled for that. Let's say hello to some folks first. Ishmael in Dominica. Welcome, Ish. Good to see you, buddy. His call sign, Juliet 72, India Mike Sierra. My brother Bob, courtesy of WIFI. Welcome, brother. Good to see you. JJ from Canada. Sorry, mouth got tied there. Victor Echo 3, Whiskey Juliet. It's good to have you part of the show today as well as Dave, Whiskey 6, Charlie Romeo Tango in Hot Temecula, California. It's great to have you as well, Dave. Let's get the news first. Bouvet. All right. On again, off again, on again, off again, right? Well, here's what's happening. This is the second most difficult DXCC to get. It's the second most, literally. It's located right between South America and Africa, literally, and in the Antarctic Sea. So literally, it's a sub-Antarctic island, all right? So very difficult. You can only really work on one area of this tiny island to even set up. Now, there are 3 different groups trying to get to Bouvet for 2021, 2022, and 2023. No joke. Take a look. Right now, parallel planning underway by 3 entities for the expeditions to Bouvet Island, the remote volcanic glacial sub-Antarctic island in the South Atlantic, is the second most wanted DXCC entity, according to Club Log. In June, the Intrepid DX Group canceled its 3YOJXD expedition planned for 2023 after the ship that they had, rented was put up for sale. Now, they've got extra plans. They tried to get another ship. Now, on August 8th, the DXpedition using the 3YOJ call sign announced the signing of a contract with the expedition vessel Marama, a 100-foot sailing ketch with a proven track record and experienced polar crew. So, part of this group is Ken Obsker, Lima Alpha 7 Golf India Alpha, Rune Oye, he is call sign Lima Alpha 7 Tango Hotel Alpha, and Erwan Marion, Lima Bravo 1 Quebec India. Obsker actually holds the 3YOJ license, and he split from the Intrepid DX Group DXpedition that he headed with co-leader Paul Ewing November 6, Papa Sierra X-Ray. But there's more. Polish radio amateur Dom Gerb, 3 Zulu 9 Delta X-Ray, how about that for a call, says planning continues for a second expedition to Bouvet. And this guy, he got so close once before. His first attempt to reach the island back in March 2019 failed. He was only 63 nautical miles off the shore. Can you imagine getting that close? So he's trying it again. It's going to be fielding a team of 12 operators for a 20-day stay around Bouvet. They would set up at Cape Fee on the southeastern part of the island, which is called the only feasible part where the expedition can safely set up, because you don't want to set up on a glacier there. Keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on this for you with the DXpedition plans to Bouvet. Now, 3 groups looking to get that really hard DXCC entity. Chapel's on the air, September 11th, 2021. Excuse me. Going to be happening from 10 to 1600 UTC. If you're planning to put your church or chapel on the air, make sure you get your permission from your pastor and make sure you get your social distancing guidelines. You'll be just fine. Okay. RSGB News, the next QSO Virtual Ham Expo going to take place on the 14th and 15th. Tickets include entry for the 2 live day period as well as a 30-day on-demand period. If you want more information, find it here on the RSGB website. My tongue's tied today. I'm not sure what's going on. Happy Wednesday, everybody. The 11th day of August. Want to give you the trivia question from yesterday, and we did have a correct answer, by the way. Question was, in what year was the 20-meter band authorized for amateur use? Okay? This is a very interesting question, and it's got a great story behind it. And today's trivia question is going to piggyback it just a little bit. Okay? We had a correct answer yesterday from Kilo 4, Papa Oscar Delta. Yep, he got it correct. So North America with one more. Not bad. That's awesome. I mean that sincerely. So North America now has 2, and Islands on the Air with 1. Literally, it's just that close. So Europe, you still got a shot. We'll give you one today, and hopefully we'll get you guys back in the game. That's the whole idea here. So we'll get you together. And I gave Jeff's call sign wrong, but Jeff, we gave you that one because you got it right yesterday on the show. 160 also was an old band, but let me tell you a little history. 20-meter band was the first band made available to amateurs in the U.S. by the Third National Radio Conference back on October 10th, 1924. The band was allocated on a worldwide basis by the International Radio Telegraph Conference in Washington, D.C. on October 4th of 1927. Its frequency allocation back then was 14 megahertz to 14.4 megs. The 40-meter band was made available to amateurs in the United States by the Third National Radio Conference back on October 12th, 1924. So 40 meters precedes 20, all right? The 80-meter band was made available to amateurs in the U.S. by the Third National Radio Conference as well on October 10th, 1924. So 40 and 80, very, very old, the originals. The band was allocated on a worldwide basis by the International Radio Telegraph Conference back in Washington, D.C. on the 4th of October, 1927 for 80 meters. And at that point, this was the allocation, okay? It was 1.715 to 2 megs. That was it, no joke. 10-meter band allocated on a worldwide basis by the International Radio Telegraph Conference in Washington, D.C., October 4th of 27. Its frequency allocation back then was only 28 megahertz to 30 megahertz. Then on October 10th of 24, the 5-meter band, 56 megahertz to 64 megahertz, you imagine that wide, was first made available to amateurs in the United States by the Third National Radio Conference back in October of 27. No kidding. It was allocated for amateur experimental use originally. Then, of course, the Warp bands came into play. So that's 17, 30, 12, those bands. So we got those back in the 70s, back in 1979. 160-meter band. It's the oldest of all of the radio bands. I'm going to talk about that one today. Trivia question. In what year was a 20-meter band authorized for amateur use? Well, we got an answer correct from Jeff yesterday on that. It was 1924. Today's trivia question. The 160-meter band went to war during World War II to be utilized in radio navigation system called what? Was it A, GPS, B, ELF, C, LORAN, or D, ASDIC? Hit me up with A, B, C, or D. We'll let you know who wins and gets the continent today. Yep. Guys doing well, doing really well. Right away, Ishmael answers C, LORAN, and Islands on the Air ties North America today. How about that? Wow. Right off the bat. Yeah. 160 meters was the primary band. It really was. In fact, here's the history. 160-meter band is the oldest amateur radio band. It was a staple of reliable communication in the earliest days of amateur radio, when almost all communications were relatively short. Typical operating frequencies were below 20 megahertz. Now, in the UK, 160 meters was the primary band used for mobile operation for many years. Despite many obstacles and threats from commercial radio and military radio, the efforts of a small number of determined 160-meter operators enabled the band allocation to survive. It's also called top band. It's also called the gentleman's band. That's true. 160 meters. Congratulations to Ishmael, Juliet, 72 India, Mike Sierra 2. Nice work. Nice work. All right. If you'd like to get in amateur radio, this is a great book for folks in the UK. Also, I think the questions are great for the US too. It's called Exam Seekers for Amateur Radio, and this is good stuff. Find this on the RSGB website. It's not very expensive, and it has great tools for you to pass all the way from your beginning license in the UK, which is the foundation, all the way to your full license. RSGB, wonderful book here. And we're going to talk about the ARL antenna book today as well, because we've got great segments on mobile work today. Before we get into that, we've got the weather. Powered by ICOM. ICOM, for the love of ham radio. Here is the CME conditions, 87, 89, but there's no CME predicted for today. So we have good, stable conditions. A1A, unfortunately, no change from yesterday. Still looks pretty dark. No solar flares to speak of over the last 36 hours. K-index up to 3 and down to 1 now. So conditions are very quiet. If you've got those low noise floors, it sounds real good on the bands. The problem is we don't have much solar radiation. MUFs around the world, 12.9 in Alaska, 19.33 in Brazil. We've got 18.88 in Ascension Island, 7.89 in Hermanus, South Africa. Look at Athens, only 18.85. Didn't even reach 20 today. Darwin, Australia at 10.38 and Jeju Island at 12.80. Current conditions, SFI down 1 from yesterday, 72. Solar number of 0. It's just there's just no sunspots. A of 7, K of 1. Solar wind about stable as was yesterday, 428.5 kilometers per second. And you see the 80 to 40 and 30 to 20 meter bands. I think that's going to be fairly reasonable based on the SFI and the low noise floor. EME degree today for people who like to work moon bounce is good, and there's a high MUF today on 20 meters. Cuban jamming still going on, and it's not as bad today. They have actually reduced the amount of interference going out, and the distance of these frequency splatters are much less today. Frequencies jammed today, 7.106, 7.115, 7.126, and 7.130. And keep in mind, those two frequencies, 7.126 to 7.130, that's a primary area where Cubans speak with South Florida. So that's why they're really jamming hard there. 7.141, 7.179, and 7.215, which was 30 kilohertz wide now, and this is a misspelling, sorry, should not say megahertz, it's just 6 kilohertz wide. So at 7215 megahertz, it's over 6 kilohertz wide today, so not as hard as Cuba's been jamming the last 2.5 weeks. Your ham and shortwave forecast for today, powered by ICOM, we've got daytime voice openings 20 and 17, data 30 to 10. There's just not enough solar flux index for us to get 15. So just plan on 20 and 17 today. Nighttime ham openings 160, 80, 75, 40, 60, 30, and a 50% chance today of 20 meters open till approximately an hour after sunset. It's just not enough SFI, and we'll see if we can keep it juiced longer past sunset. Weak SFI is going to make 20 meters limited in length tonight. Shortwave bands 31, 25, 22, and 19. Shortwave nighttime open today 120, 90, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22. And I believe tonight, 50% chance of getting 19 meters until about an hour after sunset. And then your signal's just going to fade away. Want to welcome you back to the show. All right, we're going to say some quick hellos to everybody that joined us. We want to thank you very, very much for being here. It's truly an honor to do this show every day that I can, and I'm grateful that you come. Want to thank John. And what a nice comment from Tonawanda, New York, a very historic place, by the way. Tonawanda is a place that most of the major Chevrolet high-performance engines used to be made. There was a big GM plant there that made the big blocks, the 427s, the 454s, the 350 LT1s. Really neat history there. John, thank you for your kind words here about this. He says, thanks for your contribution to ham radio. That's John. His call sign is Kilo 2 Oscar Lima from Tonawanda, New York. Thank you, John. Wow. That really humbles me, buddy. Thank you. I mean that sincerely, John. Thank you. What a beautiful area that is, too. Cliff Bolts has joined us also from the state of Virginia, Whiskey Delta 4, Oscar Bravo Papa, and Scott is here. Welcome back, Scott. It's good to see you. We're going to talk today about mobile applications. You know, how you can put your ham radio in your rig. Also, good antenna that you can use that's going to be productive. Not something you're just going to get by with, but something that's productive. Also, if you have this book, Chapter 21 of the ARL antenna book talks about mobile HF antennas. And it's got a great section for maritime and HF antennas. In fact, all of Chapter 21 talks about building your own mobile or HF antennas. That's good research for you. But first, it's time to play 20 questions. 20 questions. We're going to work on the general and Intermediate licenses today for both the US and UK. These are 20 questions, 10 each for each country to try and help you pass those license exams. Now, I'm not a substitute for your study, but I am here to help supplement you. Maybe you'll find a trick or an answer that'll come on your test. You'll remember it. So my hope is that these 10 questions for each country will maybe pop up on your test, and perhaps I can help you out. Welcome to 20 Questions, General and Intermediate today on Ham Radio Live. Let's get to the questions first and we'll get you started, okay? We're going to start with the UK first. This is the intermediate exam in the United Kingdom. So let's take a look at question number 1. All right, for a given length of feeder line, the losses in a twin feeder line will be, the answer is less than for coax. Yeah, because feeder line has a much lower velocity factor. Much higher velocity factor. It simply will have more juice to it. That's the best way to put it. So for a given length, if you're going to have coax versus twin feed or window line, however you want to put it, the twin feed always wins. It's just less lossy. So that's the reason why. So keep that one in mind. Feeder line has less loss than coax, and you'll have it correct. Next, on the UK intermediate exam, which mode of transmission occupies the least bandwidth and which the most? In these 4, they give you CW and FM respectively, data and AM respectively, single sideband and AM respectively, or AM and FM respectively. The answer is Morse code, which is CW, and FM respectively. FM, about 12 megahertz wide. CW, 50 hertz wide. That's why it's the right answer. Keep in mind, CW 50 hertz only, but FM is about 12 kilohertz. You'll have it, okay? So always remember CW and FM. You'll have it right. Next question on the UK intermediate. Your license requires that you should carry out tests on your stations, okay? And then they give you 4 answers. From time to time to ensure that the station is not causing undue interference, or every 6 months to check for unwanted harmonics, or regularly to ensure that your antenna is properly connected. See, that sounds reasonable. Or D, after any severe electrical storms to ensure that the radio's VFO remains properly aligned. Okay, you don't want that one, obviously. The answer is A. You want to check your station from time to time to ensure that the station is not causing undue interference to your neighbors. Okay, you do that, you're good to go. So just remember, just pick pick that one. Don't pick the VFO one. That's just ridiculous. Next, which of the following metals are hard to solder by normal means? The answer here is aluminum. Aluminum is the hardest to solder of tin, brass, copper, and aluminum. Aluminum is much harder to solder to. So when you see the question about metals being hard to solder by normal means, remember aluminum. Aluminum is your answer. Or if you're in the UK, aluminium. That's what they call it there. So, sorry, aluminium. We'll put it that way. All right. And it's about time now to activate the woofing filter.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wile E. Coyote.
There you go. Jeez. See, we kept the window open for him today so they can see the world. I told Bob, okay, if they go off, just close the window. He just did. So there you go. Number 36 on the UK intermediate. The ability of a capacitor to store charge depends upon A, the area of the plates and their separation. Okay, capacitors have plates in them. The distance that they are between, so the distance between them, helps to determine how much energy it can store. So just remember a couple of plates, apart from each other, and you have how a capacitor works. Remember the plates, capacitor and plates on this question, and you'll get it right. Again, this is on the UK intermediate exam. Next question. If you're building a circuit which calls for a 0.01 microfarad capacitor, which of the following components would you choose? The answer is a 10 nanofarad capacitor, right? So look at the question. You see the 0.01, flip it, okay? Flip it, and then go to the nanofarad. You're going for a 10 nanofarad capacitor, and you'll have that one right. Next, on the UK intermediate exam, You work at a local radio shop and are in conversation with another licensed amateur on the radio. Which of the following should you not talk about? A, the fact you've been ill.
Hey, McFly!
Yeah. The type of radio you're using, the special offers on sale at your radio shop, or the forthcoming lecture at Radio Club. Okay, here's where you don't talk about money, okay? Look, if you're going to be on ham radio, you can talk about selling stuff, but only on a basis that's not regular. You're not going to become the sales channel. Don't do that. Both in the US and UK, you don't want to do that. So if this happens to be a case where you happen to work at a radio store, don't talk about the special offers, okay? Pretty much simple. And the same goes in the US. They talk about, not doing things of a pecuniary interest, which means monetary. All right, next question for the UK. It is important that a workbench should always be well ventilated because the fumes from soldering can cause A, irritation of the eyes, B, asthma, C, lightheadedness, or D, a loss of concentration. Yeah. All right. I know. But it's important. Okay, so the answer is B, asthma. Just think of fumes and smelling fumes. All right. That's why you want well-ventilated area, is because of breathing. Of all of these answers, one goes to breathing. So ventilation and breathing, you put them together, you're going to have the answer correct. Get it? That's the way to pass that one. All right. Next on the UK, intermediate, we got two more. Q codes that you are likely to meet include QRL, QRM, QRT, and QSY. Which of the following is not one of the previous four? The answer is who's calling me? That's QRZ. Okay. QRL, QRM, QRT, QSY. That is not who is calling me. Q is calling me is QRZ. So when you're on QRZ, that's why it says QRZ, because it's people getting together to find out who is calling them. Brilliant, right? All right. Last question for the UK. You're experiencing interference on your television and want to establish if the problem is due to unwanted RF being conducted out of the transmitter along its power supply leads and into the mains. A good suggestion would be the answer is transmit into a dummy load. Very important, okay? If you're experiencing interference on your TV, all right, and you transmit a dummy load and it goes away, you know the problem is in your tower or it's in your feed line. So you know you have troubleshot it then. If you still get interference, okay, you can also put then a filter on your television. That'll help you to get through all of that mess, okay? So you're no more interfering. All right, there's the first 10. Now we'll go to the US. This is for the intermediate license, the general license. Mid-level, get you 97% of the frequencies in amateur radio. All right, so first question for the US general exam is, which of the following describes a waterfall display? All right, we had this one recently too. Yeah. All right, so the answer is C, frequency horizontal, signal strength intensity, time is vertical. Here's what it looks like. C, the green, here's your intensity. It's right here. Okay, so green is intensity. You can see it bouncing up and down. Okay, your frequency is horizontal. Right now we're at 100 kilohertz wide. Okay, so you can see it goes out 80 and then it goes, past 80 on both sides. All right. Time's vertical. Okay, you see these signals? Those are signals and those are going down. Waterfalls travel down. Those are signals. So time is vertical. So you see this question. Remember, if anything, time is vertical. Okay, it's the only one that has time is vertical. And it'll help you because if you've just seen what I've just shown you here, you see the signals going down, that means time. Time is vertical. You'll have the answer. Next question. On the US general exam, again, gives you about 97% of all the frequencies available to US radio amateurs. What does a sudden ionospheric disturbance have on the daytime ionospheric propagation of HF radio waves? All right. So let's say we have a coronal mass ejection. Okay. So we take a look here and one of these areas emits a huge amount of plasma, and that plasma magnetically is pointed towards the South Pole. Really, that's how it works, okay? So if something like that happens, it's going to cause an ionospheric disturbance. Okay, what happens? What happens is it disrupts signals on lower frequencies more than those on higher frequencies. Keep in mind, the D layer gets most of the absorption of the solar radiation, okay? So if you've got a mass ejection from the sun, the D layer is going to get even more charged. So lower frequencies are going to be affected more than the higher ones because the D layer gets the most charge, okay? If you remember that principle, you'll have that right, okay? Next on the U.S. general exam, what does MUF stand for? Right, there's two. They're sister and brother, okay? LUF is lowest usable frequency. It means it's the lowest usable frequency you can use for point-to-point communications. MUF is maximum usable frequency. That's the highest frequency you can use for point-to-point communication. Typically, people want to work near the MUF, not the LUF. And the reason for it is because you get better distance, okay? It's more charged at that point. So you'll see people working towards the MUF. It's the maximum usable frequency for communications between 2 points. That's why when we show you the map of MUFs around the world, we're giving you an idea of what conditions are like around the world right now. So you can see highest in the world, about 18.8 megahertz currently. So MUF, maximum usable frequency for communication between 2 points. Okay. Next question on the U.S. general exam. Why are HF scatter signals in the skip zone usually weak? All right, remember, skip is E-skip. It's in the E layer, all right? And those are basically highly charged clouds. That's what they are. When your signal hits that area, it's going to hit and it's going to break into pieces, literally. It's like a broken mirror, and if you shine a light into a shattered mirror, the light's going to go in all different directions. Same thing with HF signals hitting E-skip, okay? Only a small part of the signal energy is scattered into the skip zone. Remember, broken mirror is shattered. Signal energy scattered. Remember that. That's the way I did it. Broken mirror is shattered. Signal energy is scattered. You'll have that one right. All right? Next on the US general, we have 4 more. What is the purpose of a notch filter found on many HF transceivers? The answer is to reduce interference from carriers in the received passband. Okay, let's take a look at the rig here. Okay, if you take a look right here, okay, where the mouse is going, this is the current passband. Okay, so if I were to activate the notch filter on the radio, watch what happens. You're going to see a V pop up in here. Okay, see the V? That's a notch filter. So if I were to move the notch filter around, what it's going to do is it's going to adjust the notch so that basically it's going to move back and forth. So you're going to notch out an offending carrier. So let's say that offending carrier there, you want to get rid of it, you can do it. And then you turn it away and there it comes back. You see that? See how that one carrier to the right was bouncing up? It says to the left. See the left one that's quite high? We just move it over there. And what it does, it literally just limits it out. That's all it does. That's what a notch filter does on a radio. So in this question, what's the purpose of a notch filter found on many HF transceivers? It's simply to reduce interference from carriers in the receiver passband. Now you've seen a visual example of it. I hope it helps you. Next on the U.S. general. Which of the following is a function of a digital signal processor, so DSP? It's simply to remove noise from received signals. Digital signal processing is things like notch filters, digital noise reduction, contour if you've got an ICOM, high-pass filters, low-pass filters if you've got an ICOM, DSP. It's simply to remove noise from received signals, and you're fine. Next, what is the purpose of a speech processor as used in a modern transceiver? It's at the bottom there. The answer here is to increase the intelligibility of transmitted phone signals. Now, that's what speech processors do, also called compression. Keep in mind, you can't overuse, you don't want to overdrive your compression or your speech processor. If you do, you're going to overmodulate and you're going to splatter all over the place. It's going to sound awful. So make sure when you adjust your processing that you do so with the ALC meter on your transceiver. Let me give you a good example of what that looks like. All right. Here we are again on the rig. All right. If we're going to test to make sure that we're speech processor's right, we're going to change our meter and we're going to go to ALC. All right. We want our signal, want that meter to be right here, right at the edge of the white and right barely before the blue. If you even go a little in the blue, you're okay. But if you're way over here, you're really overdriving. You're splattering the crud out of stuff. So don't write it there. So on this question, it's basically to increase the intelligibility of transmitted phone signals. But if you overuse it, you're going to make them unintelligible because you're going to be splattering everywhere. All right? US, general question. Here we go. Last few. Which of the following is a function of a digital signal processor to remove noise from received signals? We got that. We got the other one. Sorry, I don't know why that thing popped up there like it did. Last question on the general exam, and then we'll get into mobile applications. What is the name of the process by which sunlight is changed directly into electricity? Just remember photo. Like you're outside, you're taking a photo, right? Because you have a pretty day, you're taking pictures. Okay. Photovoltaic conversion. That's what it is. It's the process by which sunlight changes directly into electricity. Photovoltaic conversion works in your solar panels and changes everything into your electrical power so you can run everything that you've got. And there you go. There's 20 questions, 10 US, 10 UK. Thanks for coming today. Appreciate you guys being here. We're going to talk about mobile applications now. Mobile is something we've never touched on. And I'm really excited to bring it to you because this is a neat part of ham radio and a part that I've not done a whole lot of. I love to work remote though. Remote's fun because it gives you a chance to work from a different place and different conditions. For example, you could be on top of a mountain and have much better takeoff angle. You could be at the beach and have great reflection off the ocean. Remote is really cool to do. Parks on the air, islands on the air, summits on the air. It can be a ball. But before we do that, we have somebody who is a legend on this channel. Scott, hello from North Boston, New York, where tonight's forecast is dark, continuing dark until morning with widely scattered light. Welcome, Scott. Kilo Charlie 2, Charlie Alpha Delta, welcome to the state of New York. All right, let's talk first about mobile rigs. First, you got the ICOM ID5100. This is a great rig. You put the head unit under your seat, okay, and then you have the control pad that's right there with a control pad microphone. Really a very nice, mobile rig. Truly is. Yaesu makes the FG891. You'll see these also as home base stations, so they can work either way. Home base station, or you could use it in your rig. Easy to deploy. You have a car, mounting kit for it. This is a very popular rig for people to use in their vehicles. Here's one that just does VHF, UHF. So we're going to, on this one, 2 meters and 70 sems. Also, it does Yaesu's digital modes like Voice X, things like that. Okay, so this is the Yaesu FTM 400 XDR, different than this Yaesu product. This Yaesu product here is for HF. This one here is VHF, UHF. So know what you're looking for. But what if you got a rig that you got, you want all of it, HF, VHF, UHF. Here's a good one. ICOM 7100. It will do HF, VHF, UHF. You put the control light underneath your seat, you cleanly wire everything, and you've got a touchpad control that'll get you all the way from 160 all the way through to 70 centimeters. The ICOM 7100. So there's 4, and there's plenty of others. Kenwood makes them. There's handhelds out there. There's plenty of ways to remote. We're talking about using an actual transceiver, and not a handheld. So what about installing it? Let's take a look at a video, and I'll have the description section, the link, so you can see it yourself again, and credit to the channel person who did it. It's about how to hook up your amateur radio inside a motor vehicle.
There seems to be a lot of misinformation about installing amateur radio equipment in vehicles with respect to interference of onboard electronics. Contrary to information found across the web, no automobile manufacturer prohibits installation of radio gear, amateur or otherwise, nor do any deny warranty claims of vehicles so equipped. In fact, they offer guides on proper wiring. The ARRL actually has a web page for this. It's www.arrl.org/auto-manufacturer-s-policies. You can also get the information from your local dealer on your specific vehicle. Just ask for the RF guideline requirements from the manufacturer. With that said, very few amateurs go out searching for a new vehicle with the idea of mounting antennas on it or a transceiver in it. Typically, they already own a vehicle and they've decided to operate mobile. Either way, it always presents a problem in some fashion. Minivans, SUVs, RVs, Jeeps, station wagons, crossovers, and plastic skin vehicles present a greater challenge. The main thing to remember about vehicle installation is do it right the first time. Take your time, plan it out, and don't do it haphazardly. If there is but one theme to follow when doing a mobile installation, it's safety. Haphazard or improperly fused wiring, inconvenient transmitter mounting locations, or mounting too close to an SRS device are dangerous practices. Take time to plan your installation and execute the plan in a vigilant manner. While none of us want to be involved in a vehicle crash, statistically 1 out of 7 will be at some time in their life. Minor knowledge of high school physics is all it takes to understand what damage an unsecured remote head or handheld can cause in a crash. The rule of thumb is, if it's loose, bolt it down. And contrary to popular belief, there is always a place to properly screw down a radio head. Wherever you mount your radio or remote head, it should be within easy reach and easily visible. Not always is this an easy task to accomplish. And always remember the line, heads up for safety. Don't try to pick out a mount and then try to figure out how to use it. While some folks don't like to drill through the plastic interior pieces, if you plan well, they won't be easily visible once the radio is removed. Further, cubby holes, center consoles, and storage boxes should not be used. Remember, most modern transceivers rely on fans to keep them cool, thus requiring airflow around them. This is one reason factory-supplied mounting brackets should be used. In other words, don't place any transceiver directly on any surface. Do yourself a favor and resist the temptation to install hardware you really don't need. A good example of this is an SWR meter for an FM radio. By the time the meter tells you anything, you'll no doubt already know something's amiss. The only case for installing one is for an HF transceiver, and in most cases, the newer radios already have an SWR bridge in them, which is adequate enough for mobile use. When it comes to mobile operation, it pays to remember the KISS principle. There's quite a few manufacturers of mobile mounting equipment. They include Ram Mounts, has a wide variety of mounts aimed at us amateurs. Gamber & Johnson is most likely the largest manufacturer of mobile mounts in the world. Most police, fire, and government agencies around the world use them exclusively. Panavice has manufacturer-specific mounts that stay out of the reach of gauges, knobs, and airbags. Havas also has a wide variety of mounts as well, while TACCOM specializes in what could be called portable mounts. They're unique as they can be stacked. Now for the don'ts. Avoid using Velcro at all costs. It's just not a safe solution. And double-sided tape isn't much better. Some forms of double-sided tape are used by vehicle manufacturers to attach all kinds of things. However, the tape they use is made from industrial-grade adhesive. Once they're stuck on, they stay stuck. Clearly, some mounting methods are far less effective and secure than others. One essential element in any method you choose is safety. If it is easy to remove, then a crash will remove it, no matter how secure you assume it is. The other is inside a vehicle, neatness counts. And if all else fails, talk to a mobile electronics certified professional or an ASE certified mechanic about your ham radio installation.
Today we're talking about the little Tarheel II, 80 through 6
How
meters.
about that? Okay, so installation. Again, just like on your test, everything should be quick, short, direct, right? Direct leads from your battery. Don't make them long. Make them as short as you can, all right? Follow the instructions that the manufacturer gives you, but make your connections short. What about antennas? There's a wonderful antenna that you can use mobile, and it actually goes up and down electronically for meter bands from 80 to 6. No joke. Let me show you this video. It's a wonderful video done by Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta Radio Stuff. Great YouTube channel. Tons of content there to help you, whether you're new to ham radio or you've been in it for a long time. Let's take a look at the Tarheel by MFJ, the Tarheel II.
Today we're talking about the little Tarheel II, 80 through 6 meter mobile screwdriver antenna. Let's check this thing out. So this thing is freaking sweet. Little Tarheel II, made in USA. Gotta love that. 80 meters through 6 meters, 200 watts, peak envelope power. Got it attached to, it's a little dirty, but that is the Diamond K800 mount. Has been working fantastic. It has survived 100-mile-an-hour winds. Don't ask me how I know that. Guys, this thing is ridiculously easy to set up. It's 2 wires. You have first your coax coming off of the mount, and then you have this gray cable. The antenna comes with this choke. They said to wrap it around at least 3 times, so I wrapped it around like 5. That's pretty much it. And I tore everything out of the car, but I had it all just going through the trunk into the back seat. Here, I'll show you. My car is a mess right now. I just put the wires coming through here and down and underneath the floor mat, and then underneath. Still got cat litter from when I moved. My cat is a slob. And everything is controlled with this MFJ 1924 screwdriver antenna controller. It's simple. Just hooks up the 12 volt. I have everything running through my cigarette lighter because I haven't tapped into my battery yet, but stupid easy. I'm going to show you all how it works. We're going to get on the air, hopefully activate this park, and see how far out we can get. So I just want to show you how ridiculously easy this thing is to set up. First off, you're going to have this lead that comes off the bottom of the antenna. This is for the control cable. And it comes with a bit of dielectric grease, so you squeeze some in there, and you're simply going to connect that cable with your toroid in there. And then we're going to take our controller. Now the antenna actually does come with a switch to make it go up and down. It's literally just a black toggle switch that you push it up or down, and it will raise and lower the antenna. This has memories, so you can program what frequencies, where the antenna is resonant and everything, so you just push a button and it raises it up. I have no idea where the black button is because I moved and everything is still packed away. Otherwise I'd show you, but the idea is the same. Get rid of all this stuff and you'd only have an up and down button. But to wire it up is all exactly the same. So from the switch, we're going to have our 12 volt power connection. So I'm just going to plug this in a battery now to just to show you how this works. So now we've got power, and then you also have the gray control cable that you're going to plug in. And now you got to watch see how there's a little indent there. You got to make sure you plug it in properly. It'll only go in one way. And now that's it. You're ready to rock and roll. So you can hit up or down, or push one of your presets, and it'll start raising the antenna. Now this thing is not fast. It's actually, there's a crap ton of coils in this thing. I'm just going to show you how fast this thing, or how slow this thing goes. I'll just push my 20 meter setting there. See, it automatically raises. And we're off like a herd of turtles. You can see the meter counting up. And this only, I think about 42 is where I have it set for 20 meters. And then it just automatically sets off, which is great. You do have to go inside of this and change like the resistance and the voltage for the antenna for it to bottom out. So if you hold the up and down buttons for 2 seconds, it'll automatically lower it all the way down to 0, which is great because if you want to just collapse it, coming in your garage or whatever, you can do it all manually. You don't have to sit there and hold the button down. And now it's done. So you set the voltage because this thing will just keep trying to tighten it more down. So you set it really low, and I think I have this at like 20 is what the number is. Read the manual. There's a few settings in here, but it's very basic. If you want to save a setting, you just hold in the number for a couple seconds, and then it'll say done, and it's saved. It's very easy. I'll show you how to get it tuned up, and then we will get on the air. So now in order to tune this, we want to raise the antenna and just
watch this part. This is going to stun you, how well this antenna works. It may take a while to get there, but watch.
42 or so on mine. You can see how it's louder now. Throw her into CW mode, and we'll key up. So we're pretty close. And there we go. Just a little touch. So we're just barely getting there. That's perfect. And then we can just hold down the button for like long press it. It'll say done. And now that's set. So let's tune 40 meters. Now same process on 40. We're just going to go up until we hear the loudest noise. Usually in the 90s somewhere for me. There, hear that getting really loud now? So key up. And perfectly flat SWR.
Okay, now, you've seen how he set it up. Now watch how this darn thing works.
Fantastic. And we'll save that. I just used 2 for 20, 4 for 40. Those are pretty much my main bands there. And done. Perfect. And then we just rinse and repeat for all the other bands. You can see how much coil is actually up here. There's still a ways to go to get on 80. This thing goes all the way up to get on 80. Down at 6 meters, it's pretty much collapsed, and everywhere in between. Does it all. All right, throw out a spot, see what kind of shenanigans we can get into.
November Kilo 5, Juliet.
This is Parks on the Air on 40 meters during the day.
That's 3 right off the bat. Not so bad.
Kilo Alpha 5, Charlie, Oscar, Whiskey.
Go ahead, park to park.
Alpha 5, Uniform Zulu.
We got 6 in 5 minutes.
Kilo India 5, Lima Kilo Sierra. Kilo Juliet 4, Echo Golf. KJ42, heading about 5-3 to Illinois State, Mike. Alpha 5, Hotel.
Got 9 in 7 minutes.
Kilo 5, Foxtrot Golf Hotel. 55, Golf Alpha India.
It's working. It's working. Who knows that reference? Got 11 contacts in 8 minutes.
Whiskey 5, Foxtrot Kilowatt November. Kilo 5, Lima Echo.
Somebody spotted me, says, go to Rockport, Texas. Ask if he's eating a Whataburger. So we got 13 contacts in 10 minutes on 40 meters. Then someone started coming in on the frequency, so I'm going to switch up to 20 meters and see what we can get there. I don't think 20 is too active today, but we're going to give it a shot.
Kilo Bravo 3, Whiskey Alpha Victor. 5 you are 5757 into Kilo 1304. And I also have a special event called Kilo 3 Golf. Yourself? Victor Alpha 7, Juliet Sierra Foxtrot. You're 5-5, British Columbia, over. Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Whiskey Fox. You're 5-9er, Park 1304. Yourself? Yes, called Kilo Charlie 6, Sierra Echo Hotel, you're 5-8 at Lake Havasu City, Arizona, QSL. It's Kilo Echo 7, Juliet Hotel Alpha. Kilo November 4, Echo Delta Golf. Whiskey 3, Alpha. Kilo 7, Sierra Echo November. Kilo 6, Romeo, India November. Kilo India 7, Echo Kilo Romeo. Whiskey 4, Uniform Delta Bravo. Kilo Papa 4, Yankee Bravo.
Kilo Papa 4, Yankee Bravo, 5-5 in Texas.
QSL, my friend. I'm a big fan. 5-2 in Puerto Rico. Thank you, my friend.
Roger, the 5-2 Puerto Rico. Thank you, 73.
Kilo India 4, Papa Bravo, Japan. November 4, Alpha Tango Juliet. Kilo Zulu 9
9 whiskey?
Whiskey. Roger. 4-4 with time.
Boy, we're getting out on 20.
Kilo Oscar 4, Alpha Lima Whiskey. Alpha 4, Juliet Whiskey, Park.
Alpha 4, Juliet Whiskey, park to park. Go ahead, you are 5-5 into Kilo 3019.
Hey, sorry, Mike, you got some QRM on you. I've got you about a 5-2, 52 into Kilo 2913, 5-2, Kilo 2913, QSL.
Roger the 5-2, Kilo 2913. Thanks for the park to park, 73.
Thank you for activating it. Good luck, 73.
We got it.
Kilo 7, Delta Sierra Yankee.
Was it November 6, Alpha Romeo Kilo? Oh, crap. K6ARK, what's up, buddy? I saw you spotted on a mountain. You're 22, 22, 22.
Mike's great.
Just got Mr. Mountain himself, K6ARK.
Kilo 7, Whiskey X-ray Bravo.
Well, that worked. Let's see. On 20 meters, we got 20 contacts. We started at 1816, and now it's 1829.
How about that?
So what is that? 20 contacts in 13 minutes?
Wow.
That doesn't suck.
No
We got
joke.
K6ARK on the log. We got Puerto Rico.
Look
Let's
at
see.
that
We got all the way
map.
up to Wisconsin, Nevada, California, Maryland, a couple park-to-parks. We got all over the place. Even some Texas. We got all the way up to West Vancouver, British Columbia, on a little 3-foot whip. Who'd have thunk? Oh,
There you
this is
go.
cool.
There you go. That's Mike. His call sign, Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta. Got a great YouTube channel. Find him here on YouTube. Just search Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta. That'll get you there. But it's called Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta radio stuff. He's got a great channel here on YouTube. Find him. Good stuff. Out of Huntsville, Texas. Thank you, Mike. Great work. Great work. That's the MFJ Tarheel II antenna. Literally works 6 to 80 from the car. Brilliant product. I'll have a description link to the product in the description section of this video. All right. We're going to continue the show next time as we talk about another brilliant antenna. Can't wait for that. But before we do that show, we have a wonderful guest coming for our next show. All right. Now, unless I can get a show in before then, which I don't know that I can because of the appointing schedule for Bob, we're going to try and get Steve Dinas from Alpha Antennas in. He'll be here for sure on Saturday. He'll be taking your questions on that Alpha Antenna Hextenna, which, as I said, the very best mobile antenna, remote antenna, QTH with HOA problem antenna I have ever used. HF, VHF, UHF, and a canvas bag. And it can run full QRO. There's nothing out there's nothing at all out there that competes with this thing. Nothing. Plus, they have an optional Yagi kit where you literally start working continents by just turning the thing on the tripod. It is brilliant. And we'll have Steve on the show Saturday taking your questions at 20 UTC. From the Shack of Oregon's Kilo 7 Hotel November, it has been a treat to see you guys today. It really has been. I'm looking forward to doing this show. I really have. If you'd like to get an amateur radio, go ahead and contact today. Let's put the Japan Amateur Radio League up. JARL.org. Find them on the internet. Tell them where you're from. Even though you may not be in Japan, they'll help you find a radio club near you. Okay? www.jarl.org. If you'd like to email the show, please feel free and find me at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. If you'd like to help support the channel in terms of its mission to bring people into amateur radio, that's why we did the 20 questions today for the UK and US exams, please find me at proburbs356@me.com. And again, thanks to Al Whiskey Bravo Zero Alpha Lima, who today really blew me away with a $100 donation. Al, thank you. I just, I told him this, and I'll share it with you. We've got a lot of things going on in the world, clearly. But human kindness still exists. It does. People understand when people need help. And they've given in a way that's so profound to me. And I feel terrible only be able to say thank you. But I mean it from my heart when I say thank you. This will help us to get an antenna that's going to work the world, and it's going to work the world live. One of the most difficult things to do on this channel is QSOs, because you have to be able to make them. And you have a short amount of time because the video can only be so long. These aren't pre-produced. These are done live. So because of that, you're the stars, and we appreciate you coming. The material, I hope, is something that will help you. And I hope today the question I gave you for both the intermediate and general will be of help to you in the test. Until next time, from the Shack of Kilo 7 Hotel November, my name's Larry. Thank you for coming. This sign-off today is from Honolulu. Sorry for the tracking issue at the very beginning, but it's beautiful. Until next time, God bless you, wherever you may be.
TV2 has come to the end of another day of service to the people of Hawaii. In Honolulu, you've been watching KHON-TV Channel 2, television STL station WCX 539, and TV intercity relay stations WDT 811, WGW 978, WFW 595, and WFW 591. Maui is being served by KAII-TV Channel 7 Wailuku. On Hawaii, KHRW-TV Channel 11 Hilo, and TV Intercity Relay Station KUT-66 Mauna Loa. And serving the island of Kauai is K55DZ Lihue.
Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here.